History of Strongman. Strength sports, as an undertaking, are all the while an advanced, and pre-present-day, sport. Records of men participating in challenges date back to the Chinese act of lifting weighty stones and cauldrons in 6000 BC. Haisheng, 2012. In like manner, ancient Greece, Rome and Egypt, among different areas, had strength societies. Crowther, 2007. Notwithstanding, strength challenges and accomplishments, similar to Haver's deadlift, follow their quick history to the late 19th and mid-20th century, when actual culture arose as another sporting development. Characterized by Michael Anton Butt as a late 19th and mid-20th century wonder worried about the philosophical and business development of the body, actual culture denoted the start of mass exercise center societies. Budd, 1997. Starting in Europe and spreading to the United States, actual culturists included strongmen and ladies who regularly went up against each other for eminence and prominence. Obviously, these early strength contests were set apart by their disordered and tricky nature. At the point when Eugen Sandow made a trip to London in 1889 to confront individual strongman Samson, he demanded utilizing his own hardware in case Samson endeavor to cheat Chapman, 1994, 86–99. Sandow later brought individual strongman, Arthur Saxon, to court over claims that Saxon purposely cheated in a challenge between the pair. Chapman, 1994, 100–109. Dissimilar to different games, which classified during the 19th century, strength contests stayed to a great extent unregulated undertaking. Strongmen and ladies entertainers were found predominantly in carnivals, music corridors and vaudeville theaters. They regularly performed without anyone else, lifted odd articles, anything from standards to packs of lime, and commonly named themselves the most grounded entertainer in the business. Kent, 2012. Early strongmen and ladies became inseparable from the articles they could lift. Talking in a narrative, Professor Terry Todd noticed that entertainers decided to lift odd articles, for example, horse trucks or guns, on the grounds that the general population had a quick casing of reference for how substantial an item was. Rogue Fitness, 2017. Between entertainers, minimal motivator existed to challenge each other because of a paranoid fear of losing a case to strength. At the point when rivalries happened, misdirection was frequently endeavored. This somewhat clarifies why Randy Roach's set of experiences of this period is openly named Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors. Roach, 2008. It became hard to test whether a record was authentic. In an alternate field, Josh Boyd's 2009 study focused on the job of utility and obligation in brandishing authenticity. On the off chance that an association or competitor supposedly acts untrustworthily in the administering of a game, and in case leads are not applied consistently, doubts emerge. Such was the doubt which frequently met accomplishments in the mid-1900s that endeavors were made by the 1920s to make some type of managed strength contests. Owing, to a limited extent, to the developing significance of weightlifting as an Olympic game, which started in 1896, alliances in Britain, Europe and the United States were made around different weightlifting developments. Bonini, 2001. Not at all like the strength shows found in the music hall or bazaar, such challenges included explicit gear, specifically free weights as well as free weights. These gatherings precisely estimated gear before rivalry, isolated contenders into divisions, had obvious records and utilized adjudicators in their rivalries. They were modernized in the Alan Gutman, 1978, feeling of the word. Despite the fact that evaluated now for its determinism concerning what was, and was not, a game. Gutman, 2001. Gutman's accentuation on records, challenges and norms as a pre-imperative for current game remains constant. Such gatherings guaranteed that one strain of actual culture was formalized as Olympic weightlifting and, on schedule, powerlifting. Todd, 2003. Missing from such universes was the bizarre entertainer who kept on working in a to a great extent fringe job all through this period. Remembered for this was the Highland Games rivalries found in the Scottish Donning schedule, which consolidated games and strength challenges. Jarvie, 2004. Albeit the Highland Games came to impact the improvement of strongman, their generally unregulated nature and liquid overseeing structures mark it as a limited, as opposed to a public game. Jarvie, 2004. In spite of the development of weightlifting and powerlifting during the 20th century, devoted strongman shows stayed the safeguard of the bizarre. It was uniquely during the 1970s that a strongman rivalry, in light of odd lifts and peculiar articles, was held. Basic in such manner was the improvement of powerlifting during the 1960s. Likewise significant was the fame of Superstars, an American network show created in 1973 which set popular competitors and big names in opposition to each other in rivalry. Pesca, 2012. Powerlifting, which zeroed in on the lifting of significant burdens utilizing three indicated developments, uplifted conversations concerning who was, and who not, the most grounded competitor in the United States. Testing competitors in the squat, seat press and deadlift, powerlifting was a lot of a cutting-edge sport characterized by normalization and rules. Where powerlifting increased discussions about strength, Superstars opened a space for new athletic exhibitions on TV. Past conversations of Superstars, a network show which tried to decide the world's best competitors, have noticed its monstrous ubiquity, just as its inheritance. Pesca, 2012. Created by ABC in the mid-1970s, the program demonstrated so effective that a progression of spin-off shows were delivered all throughout the planet. Pesca, 2012. The possibility that a complex athletic challenge could occur, and order a lot of TV interest, incompletely clarifies the improvement of yearly strength rivalries. Wizards standardized the idea of fairly whimsical athletic challenges. One such model was the World's Strongest Man from this time forward WSM challenge made in 1977. It was this opposition which denoted the formation of strongman and strong women contests. Delivered by CBS, as a feature of Trans World International, the WSM tried to accomplish for strength sports how Superstars had helped sport all the more for the most part. Welcoming competitors from a few distinct games, the challenge looked to find the world's most grounded competitor. Todd, 2002. Fundamentally, those engaged with the making of WSM denoted a mishmash of wearing coordinators and TV leaders. Two of the key coordinators were David Webster and Douglas Edmonds, both of whom had been associated with sports, Highland Games and actual culture for quite a long time. Webster, 1994. This additional some decency to the occasion, however, the requirement for diversion implied that their ideas were regularly adjusted to make them satisfactory for TV crowds. Todd, 2002. Consequently, strongmen were entrusted with conveying coolers over significant distances, lifting mock stages holding a few ladies and twisting iron bars. This, more than whatever else, denoted the start of strongman, and in this start, a pressure among game and amusement existed. The debut WSM was a business achievement and turned into a yearly challenge. From 1977 to the current day, the occasion has kept on being circulated on TV and still endeavors to engage crowds with unusual sights. That business concerns have overwhelmed this movement clarify why, before, predominant contenders have been banned to keep away from consistency. Strongmen have gone head-to-head in sumo wrestling rivalries and, in one year's challenge, deadlifted substantial squares of cheddar. Webster, 1994. The impedance of TV worries into the game's genuine cutthroat component is fairly special to Strongman. Promoting has without a doubt encroached the length of matches in the NFL, however showcasing concerns have not changed the game's guidelines. Goldsberry and Rowe, 2020. Thus lies the game's concern. Strongman's underlying development didn't come from a brandishing league, but instead a hodgepodge of competitors and promoters. Thanks for watching. Bye now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.